Hello everybody. This is the last video in this series talking about how the patterns tell the story and the power that the patterns have, right? So we've got the euro dollar here, and I've talked about this quite a bit, right? So what we have here is these levels that have been printed here. This was the last high, and these levels came from S1 patterns back here, right? This was the last high, an important high, and since then we've been basically sideways. And I talked about that this was kind of a boring price activity, right? But we saw as well how price bounced off these levels. So this was my last video I did when price actually was right here, right? When it was testing, or was it this one? I think it was this one. Yeah, when it was testing the last boundary, like the last boundary of the bears, the last defense, and we can see that there was some fight going on, right? And once price was actually able to break out, well, this is then when everything started to move. And it moves really nicely. You can see it on the 240, but we can see it especially here on the daily chart, right? So this is how a stop run move looks like. This was the last dominant high. This is where these S1 patterns formed right here on the 5-minute chart. And as the last high was broken, well, that's a dominant outbreak, right? And in hindsight, well, we talked about that before, but now looking back, well, we can actually see that, well, this was the first move. Then this is a consolidation, which is required, a pause or a refresher in this very early uptrend. And now it has refreshed sufficiently. We even got a double bottom here, which is an additional edge, right? And with this wick tested the 21 on the weekly chart. This was basically the last thing that was missing, the higher time frame alignment. And now we're just running for stops. And what is the next target area? Well, it's the 124. And let's have a look here now at higher time frames. So on the weekly chart, that looks brilliant, right? We've got a big momentum move, consolidation, getting aligned with the 21, and now we're diving into free fall territory. There's nothing in the way here, and we get a better picture if we go here. Let's bring that up. If we go here to the monthly, so the monthly tells us, okay, where does price go next? So now it's the target area is the green line, right? So it's basically now here going towards that area. And the green line, which is this overall basket pattern long, well, that's an area of resistance, and we need to rebreak that in order to see more potential. Well, not only a rebreak, what comes next up very early are these bar highs, right? These bar highs, and then the 200 moving average. So there's some resistance to cut through. But ultimately, looking for a weaker dollar for the next 10 to 15 years, well, we want to trade this S1 pattern on the monthly chart. And this means that we need to rebreak, or this is a small stop run level if you so want. But then the big level is the 140, right? The 140 was a very important level. Well, it's not only a big number, but price went there before it fell apart. Because this is such a strong move, like there are people that have gotten trapped with this move, right? So this level is very important, and any important level, well, first of all, it's difficult to break, but the other thing is, well, it acts as a magnet. So price now is drawn towards this level. Well, it meets some resistance towards that, and we don't know if it's going to follow through. It could still fail, right? But it looks very constructive now. We've made a first leg here, and I'm expecting a second leg. And if you measure this up here, well, it is a rebreak. It even rebreaks the 200. So we should do a fair amount of go here north a fair amount, and then this becomes the magnet area, and we could see the price goes there with quite some momentum as it has broken the 200. And then once it has broken, just thinking about some scenarios, what could happen? So it could happen that it breaks here, then there's a pullback. It might retest, right, the line. It might even fall below and retest the 120. And then with the second move, it might actually go swiftly towards the 4,000 level. That is very important, and then it might actually fall back here, right? And it might even consolidate within this range of this green line and the 4,000, because both levels are very important. So we might be range bound for a couple of months. It might even be a year or two, right? But finally we should then actually break this level. This is a very important level. So if this one breaks, well, we see a good stop run move, and it might bring us up to the next level, right? Well, if the next level gets broken, there are two levels close by. If this gets broken, well, then this will get triggered quickly thereafter. And then we can actually see how all this accelerates. And I mean, I always like to look back and to get an understanding, okay, how could it look like? And it could actually look like a move like that, right? That was an exponential leg. And we could see an exponential leg once these three stop run levels get broken. So we could imagine something like that, right? So we're still in a very early uptrend, which means a weak dollar, right? And whenever the dollar is weak, well, other asset class perform brilliant, right? Like precious metals. They haven't moved yet, but as this continues, and I think it will, well, we'll see as well moves like long, bullish moves coming into a gold, silver, and I'm very bullish, yeah, just recently about platinum. Platinum is lagging gold and silver, and there are some opportunities there. But let's have a look at this other currency pair. I actually prefer more than the euro dollar. Well, I'm long the euro dollar, but I'm as well short the US Swiss, and I have an overweight with being short US Swiss. I think it's even better. And well, we see the same thing, right? I mean, they're both correlated because they're correlated at the moment. They're correlated because the euro Swiss is basically sideways. So that means that the euro dollar and US Swiss are correlated. We see a very good stop run move, right? There's free fall territory, same as the dollar, just here to the downside, and that looks brilliant, right? And I love being short here. So my first position short, I think it was here, and then I added a second position here. And then we went back and forth. So now it looks brilliant. Let's have a look at the monthly chart. Well, that looks even more brilliant, right? So now we're in this free fall territory, and the next important level is this one. So this this level acts as a magnet, and I really like it because that's a perfect stop run level. We've got a big bar, an important bar, and we've got a big wick. So this is a great level. If this gets triggered, well, we fall into the next area of a vacuum, free fall territory, right? So we might actually see now things accelerate. And to get an idea, well, let's look back what we have. Well, we have here, that's an exponential leg, right? We've got something here. Well, that's not exponential, but that's a very strong momentum. So we can expect, this is the last momentum move of this S1 pattern. So we can expect something like this, right? Some big red bars coming in, and they're quite frequent here. We've 1, 2, 3, we've got 4 big red bars. There was another one here. We don't have yet any of such big bars, so we could actually see this month, this December, and this bar might develop big, which could bring us actually very close or even beyond the stop run level. So I'm looking forward what's going to happen. We might not break this at the first run. We might get there. Then there's a pullback back to the 21 or even back to the flat line. Who knows? But it looks very bearish, and I'm very happy. I've gone short early in this downtrend. So this is it. I hope it helped. Thank you.